We'll start with the prayers. Om Ajnanatimirandasya Gnanajanaashalakya Chakshurmritam Yena Tasmai Sri Gurave Namaha. Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimate Radhananda Swamiti Namane. Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swamiti Namane. Namaste Saraswate Devam Gauravani Pracharini Nirvisheshunadi Pashata Deshtarni. Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Dvaita Gadadhara Shivashadi Gaura Bhaktaranda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hello everyone, Namaste, Hare Krishna. Welcome to our Gita study session. We are in the 4th chapter of Bhagavad Gita. This chapter is titled Transcendental Knowledge. Transcendental Knowledge. In Sanskrit, it is Gnana Karma Sannyasa Yoga. In this chapter, Krishna talks about Gnana element, which is present in Karma Yoga. An action without proper mindset, it is still a karma. But an action with proper mindset, that I'm doing this as a service to the Lord, offering the results to the Lord, being neutral to success or failure, that kind of an action which is offered to the Lord in God consciousness, that will not generate any new karma. That is the Gnana element. So karma plus Gnana is Karma Yoga. So, and Krishna talks about the Gnana in this chapter. So I'll give you an overview of what we covered so far, in case if you have missed or want to have a revision of what we have covered. In our previous session, we completed up to verse 24. Today we'll start from 25 onwards. I'll give an overview of 24 verses today. So looking at first 3 chapters, first chapter, second chapter, third chapter, Krishna is persuading Arjuna to do his duty. In case of Arjuna, fighting is his duty, and he wants to run away. He doesn't want to do his duty. And Krishna trying to persuade Arjuna to do his duty, work like a karma yogi. So after hearing entire 3rd chapter, in the beginning, looking at the face of Arjuna, Krishna says, Arjuna, this is not the first time I'm giving this knowledge to you. I have given this knowledge to many people in the past. Most recently, I have given this to Sun God. Sun God in turn gave it to Manu. Manu gave it to Ikshvaku, the family dynasty. The kings in this lineage, they used to practice this practice of transcendental knowledge, what Krishna is teaching Arjuna to do. Krishna is saying the practitioners are gone. That is the reason I'm giving this to you again, because you are my devotee and a friend. And Arjuna has this question. Is it true, Krishna? You gave this to Sun God? When did that happen? How did you speak to him? And Krishna says, Arjuna, you and I have appeared many times in this world. I remember everything. You don't remember everything. I remember everything because I am Bhutanam Ishvarapi. I'm the Supreme Lord and Supreme Controller of all the living beings. I remember everything. And Krishna talks about when he appeared, how he appears. Because he said he appeared. Now Krishna is going to give more details, why he appears, how he appears, what he does when he appears. Krishna says he appears as he is. The person who is in the spiritual world, he comes as he is into this material world. It is the same Shuddha Sattvamaya body, spiritual body. English easy to understand. So Krishna comes in his own spiritual body on this world. What time he comes? Whenever there is a decline in religiosity, dharma, or inclination in adharma, evil forces, Krishna appears. That is one reason. Second reason is paritranaya sadhunam, to protect his devotees. Vinashaya cha duskritam, to annihilate the demons. To annihilate the demons, he can do from anywhere, even from spiritual world also he can do. But he still appears because to perform pastimes, various pastimes. That is why we have Ramayana. That is why we have Srimad Bhagavatam. Lord appears to perform many pastimes for us to meditate upon. That is the most important reason, Paritranaya Sadhunam. That is why Krishna appears. And towards the end, Krishna says, the person who knows, clearly understands the appearance of the Lord, the activities of the Lord, such a person, upon leaving his body, he will not take birth again. if we understand about the Lord, this is our final birth. That means we're going to attain the Supreme Lord. Krishna makes a bold statement, very strong statement. Yes, that is definitely true. And there are some people who do not or doesn't endeavor to learn about the Lord or know about the Lord. What happens to them? How about them? Krishna says, whatever the way they approach the Lord reciprocates. Ye yadamam prapadyante tam tajeva tam tadeva bhajamyaham. If a person goes to the Lord to want a material benefits, to want money or solving the problem, God takes care of it. No worries. Right? If a person thinks God to be an impersonal Brahman, God reciprocates to be like that. If a person want to approach the Lord in pure love and devotion as a friend, as a father, God reciprocates accordingly. There are some people who go to the God not directly, but through demigods. They go to Pujari, give some donation, and do some Graha Puja and whatnot, all other pujas, just for material benefits. Krishna says, through demigod, I offer them, I sanction to them. And for those kind of people, Krishna created this Varnashrama system. Now, people of different consciousness, different nature, they need to progress slowly. Krishna created a system. And Krishna also says, when he appears, when he performs activities, nothing binds him. Nothing binds him. When we do karma, when we appear, when we take birth and do various activities, those are called karmas. But when the same Lord appears and performs activities, those are called pastimes, lila. So the liberated souls, the saintly people have clearly understood about the Lord and worked in consciousness of the Lord, they attain perfection. So that covers 1 to 15. And Krishna goes back to the third chapter where he left off about Karma Yoga and continues. And Krishna says, this karma, vikarma, akarma, these are also complicated. It's hard to understand. Even the great rishis or saintly people or kings get bewildered, confused about what is karma, what is akarma, what is vikarma. In short, how the work binds, how the same work liberates. Even the great people also get confused. So karma is then action, any action which is in accordance with the scriptures as spoken by Krishna in Bhagavad Gita. That is called good actions, like donating, yajna, austerity, donations, like many activities. Taking care of our family, those are also good actions. Taking care of our wife, children, earning money in a dharmic way, these are all good actions. They produce good reactions. If you have good reactions, then you have to take birth to enjoy those reactions. That is a problem. We don't want to take birth again. Anyway, vikarma is sinful actions. If we come here and create problems to ourselves and others, injuring someone, hurting someone physically or verbally, we're bound to karmic reactions in a negative way. For those, we have to suffer. We will not be given the facilities to enjoy. We will be put in difficulties so that we can cleanse our mind and heart. And akarma, there is something like karma, vikarma, and akarma. Akarma means there is no reaction. You're doing the work, but that work itself is not creating any new reaction. That is akarma. So that's why Krishna says these are all little complicated to understand. What Krishna says, now listen, I'll speak. A person who sees inaction in action is a yogi. That means he's working with proper knowledge, like a yogi, offering the results to the Lord as a service to the Lord. If he can see that in any activity he do, going to office, working to attend salary, taking care of family, children, or any activity he does, if he can see that, if he can work like a yogi, with proper consciousness, he can liberate himself. He can liberate. He's on the right direction. And Krishna talks about such a person who works like a karma yogi, a yogi. What is his mindset, consciousness? He is never disturbed. He's always satisfied. He lives peacefully in this life. In the next life also, he attains the Supreme Lord. And most importantly, how he works? Yajna charata karma. He works like a yajna. Anything he does like a yajna, a sacrifice. Okay, so that completes 16 to 24. And towards the end, Krishna also says, even though this person living in this world, doing all kinds of activities, he's considered as not doing it all. Not doing it all. It's a great thing, right? It's like if you are eating buckets of ice cream, and if you were told that we will not gain any weight, will not gain any calories, no sugar levels increase, that's a good deal. Right? That's a good deal. That's a good thing. So that's what Krishna is saying. If you work like a karma yogi in this world, living in this world, you'll be untouched by any of the karma. Okay, and Krishna tries to give additional details about the knowledge part, gnana part, how to do that. Okay, so and then that's when he speaks this beautiful verse, Brahmarpanam Brahmahavi Brahmagno Brahmana Hutam Brahmaiva Tena Ghantavyam Brahma Karma Samadhina. So in these verses from 25 to 23, Krishna talks about attaining that gnana through yajna. Yajna here refers to any activity we do. Now Krishna gives a thematic understanding, very thematic understanding, right? So yajna literally means, yes, it is a fire sacrifice. And Krishna says any activity we do is a fire sacrifice. Consider it to be a fire sacrifice. Visualize your action to be a fire sacrifice. Right? Then you can burn the karmas. Such a beautiful thing. And we'll see from these verses 25 to 33 what Krishna says. So little bit about sacrifice. Without sacrifice, nothing can be achieved in this world, right? If a student wants to get good grades, the student could watch TV and enjoy and have fun with friends. But if it takes up the sacrifice, no, not for my personal enjoyment. Now I study for a higher cause. That's a sacrifice. Now, with that sacrifice, the student definitely get good results. Other example, if a athlete, if his goal is to attain the gold medal, he has to do a lot of sacrifices. He has to sacrifice his taste buds. He cannot eat whatever the junk food he wants. He has a full dietary restriction. He will be put in full dietary restriction, and he has to get up in the morning, early morning, go run and do some sacrifice. It's a sacrifice. Without any sacrifice, nothing can be attained in this world, right? So Krishna gives more examples, real-time examples by which we can understand how different activities can be seen as a yajna, You're all listening, you're all on the Zoom call listening here, right? What are we doing? We are doing yajna. What yajna? Gita yajna. Gita yajna. You're also, you could do many other things in your life, but you have taken some personal time, for a purpose, for a reason. This is yajna. We are all doing this yajna right now. Right? So yajna involves offering. So this is very thematic. We need to understand. So how we do yajna, right? So we need a fire, we need a spoon, we need a oil or ghee. And what we need to do, we need to take the oil and put it in the fire. Take the oil and put it into the fire. That is a theme. Take the oil, put it into the fire. In the set of verses from 25 to 33, Krishna talks all about various types of practices, spiritual practices with this theme, right? Theme is take the oil, put it in the fire. You take something and put it in the fire. You're all, you could use your, assuming you're not watching or you're watching, okay, that's fine. You're engaging your senses, sense of vision and sense of hearing, right? You're offering that. Consider that to be an oil, a ghee, and you're offering it to this Gita study. You're taking the senses and putting into this Gita study. It's a sacrifice. You could engage your senses in many other activities for personal enjoyment, but you have taken some time, right? It's a sacrifice, and you're engaging into this Gita Yajna. So that way, any action we do can be seen as a yajna, and we'll quickly go over one by one. Maybe I'll ask someone to read this.
Daivam eva pare yajnam yoginah paryupahasate. Demigod deity worship puja. Worship the demigods by different sacrifices or to Krishna directly using various paraphernalia. Brahmagnau apare yajnam yajne naiva pajuhavati. Offer sacrifices into the fire of Brahman. Fire sacrifice homa with ghee grains, offering themselves to Brahman. Stotradi anye samyama nisujuvati. Brahmacharis offer senses in the fire of sensual control. Example, restraining the senses by avoiding objects of desire, hearing, vision, taste. Sabdadin visayan anya indriyagnisu juhvati. Regulated sense enjoyment. Grahasthas offer sense object in the fire of senses. Example, regulated sense enjoyments, control of organs.
Yeah, I didn't put translation here, but this is the meaning of it, so that we can quickly go over this thing. Thank you, Arun Prabhu.
Sure.
I asked someone to read because that is the time I take to think through and get ready to speak. Thank you, Arun Prabhu. Anyway, so Devam, now Krishna in this verses from 25 onwards gives a list, a big list now. Not a big list, few verses, right? 10 verses. He gives a list, practical examples, how one can take up different types of practices and attain the gnana, knowledge. Okay, so let's do one by one. And what is that knowledge? Your purpose is you're doing some activity, doing some offering, a yajna, and you gain the knowledge. That is a thing. The knowledge is we get I'm talking about the end result, right? End result is we will get a realization that we are not this body, we are a spirit soul. And there is a higher supreme divine reality other than me, that is Supreme Lord. My goal is to attain Supreme Lord. One get that clear understanding. okay, by following various practices as given by Krishna. So the first one in the list is puja, deva puja, right? Deva mevapara yajna. So this has two meanings given by different acharyas, different interpretations. I'm going to give both. So one is to demigods. So worship of demigods, like demigod worship, the deity worship of the demigods, and offering various things to them without expecting anything in return. Okay, this is, let's say, puja, right? If you consider expecting something, it's not karma yoga practice, it's not a spiritual practice. So all this theme is without expecting, you're doing this activity. And also it could be indirectly through demigods or directly to the Supreme Lord. Deity worship, offering various flowers to the Lord. Some people who do like puja every day, early morning, they offer some flowers, garlands, or they take their own personal time. That's a sacrifice. They could do many things, but they take on personal time to do this kind of service to the Lord, right? That's the seva, through various paraphernalia. And also people cook food and offer to the Lord and eat as a prasadam, so that sanctifies the food. That is also one kind of activity, spiritual practice. It's another sacrifice, one kind of sacrifice. That is 45A. And 45B, again, this also has two interpretations. I'm going to give both. So one is like just the considering Brahman. The Brahma means like impersonal. Brahma means like Supreme Lord himself. Okay, keep it sharp. There are more technical details. Brahman means Supreme Lord, Krishna himself. Okay, so people consider Supreme Lord to be like a fire and offer various things to like ghee and grains to Vishnu. That's why Krishna says, Bhoktharam Yagna Tapasam. He's all the Yagna Tapas, all the austerities, all the fire sacrifice, everything goes to the Supreme Lord himself. So some people do this process, like physical fire sacrifice, and offer various things to the fire. They could do various other things in their life, but they're taking some personal time to do this one. Okay, so that's a sacrifice. Krishna lists various types of sacrifice. Keep in mind that is a theme. So others offer themselves into the fire of Brahman. Consider Brahman to be impersonal reality, and the soul offer themselves. I'm your servant. Okay, in simple, God, I'm your servant, I belong to you. And they work with that consciousness. That is also one kind of sacrifice. Okay, that's 25A and 25B. And 26 or 26. So some people do this kind of sacrifice. That is, instead of enjoying through senses, they restrain the senses, they control the senses. This is also one kind of practice. So especially they try to avoid certain objects of senses. Example, a brahmachari or a monk, a spiritual practitioner, they try to avoid certain things, right? They try to stay away from things that will cause adharma. Let's talk about that, like meat eating, intoxication, like alcohol, various things. Those are called sinful reactions. Of course, one has to stay away from that. And Krishna, what talking about is certain objects will create desires. Like looking at TV, right? If a person looking at TV, many ads will come through, and looking at it, his consciousness get disturbed. I want it. People get a desire. I want it. I want it. The person who is a strict spiritual practitioner, like a brahmacharis or monks, they try to stay away from those, so that he wouldn't get desires. His mind doesn't get disturbed. That is one kind of sacrifice. And also they stay away from huge heavy foods like oily food or heavy ghee foods. or mirchi masala, spicy foods. They try to stay away from those because those create agitations in the mind and body, like onion, garlic, and rajasic food. Whereas rajasic food, there is a big list of Krishna also gives that list, spicy food and various types of food. They try to stay away from that. That's a sacrifice. They could enjoy through taste, they could enjoy through tongue, but it's a sacrifice. They try to stay away from that. So Krishna says through Shrotrindriyani, right? Krishna says they try to stay away from hearing. They don't hear all unnecessary things. Anya means all others. Like it includes all other senses. It's not just hearing. It includes the sense of hearing, sense of vision, sense of taste, sense of smell. Okay, this yogi tries to stay away from various objects which will cause agitation to him. Okay, simple. Okay, that is one kind of sacrifice. Second is 26b. So Shabdhadin Vishayananya. So various kind of sense objects which create senses. This is about a person who is a beginner. So this is practitioner, this is a beginner, and next Krishna says one who is at the advanced level. Okay, so this is a beginner, like grihasthas, like us, right? So we'll try to enjoy through senses in a regulated way. Like eat limited food. Do not eat the food which has onion and garlic, which will create rajas in our body and disrupt our consciousness, right? And certain if they're watching TV, they try to watch the good things, try to avoid so many unnecessary things which will disturb their mind, right? So they're utilizing their object, but in a regulated way. Okay. So there is a slight difference here. So we can see there is an offering. The theme is take that oil and offer into the fire, right? So what this 26a was, you are taking the oil, considering oil to be the hearing process. Offer it to sense control. Imagine the sense control to be a fire. You're offering the ghee into the fire. Means you are restricting the sense of hearing process. And this is sense objects, the second one. I'm trying to connect with the theme. It's a little complicated, try to understand. So this is Grihithas who tries to enjoy through senses, right? What they do, what they offer, objects into the senses, right? Tasting the food or eating the food in a regulated way. Offering it to, imagine senses to be a fire. Imagine senses to be a fire, and you are offering the objects of senses, objects into that fire. Objects here refers to any material things. So one person stays away, one person's utilizes or uses it in a regulated way. There's slight variation, slight difference. I'm trying to keep it simple as much as possible, not to complicate too much. So this is one set of practice. Okay, 25 and 25b. So what is it? Demigod worship, puja, and Brahman worship, and sense control, trying to stay away from the objects of from the objects which will agitate our mind and create the desires. Another thing is use it in a regulated way. So with all these practices, one attains knowledge that I'm not this body, right? If a person, for example, he's trying to, if he can engage his mind towards watching TV or all kinds of things, he'll get disturbed. Now he's restricting, controlling. That's a spiritual practice where he tries to develop, he tries to know that he's a spiritual being. Right? Eventually he gets to the realization that he's a soul. Okay. Next level. Maybe I'll ask someone to read. This is a nice verse. Maybe you can read Sanskrit.
सर्वनिन्द्रियकर्माणि प्राणकर्माणि चापरे आत्मसंयम योगज्ञौ जुह्वति ज्ञानदीपिते.
Thank you.
Follows. Okay.
Yeah, just read Sanskrit only.
Okay. द्रव्ययज्ञस्तपो यज्ञ योगयज्ञस्तथा परे स्वाध्याय ज्ञानयज्ञश्च यथा यः संशितव्रताः.
Thank you, Baba. So in the previous verses, Krishna talked about at the level of senses, at the level of body, we're trying to control our mind, right? In the beginning stage, practitioner stage, and this is advanced stage. Now he is working on the mind level. What is offering? The theme is oil into the fire, right? Theme is oil into the fire. The oil here is your senses and the life air. Krishna adds one more life air. So the yogi, the practitioner of Patanjali Yoga, there are various practices, yama, niyama, asana, pratyahara, dharana. So by various practices, he tries to offer his senses. That means he's not engaging his senses for various material things. He's restraining his senses and he has senses under control. And through this effective breathing exercise, he offers it to the fire of self-control. That means he's in the process of meditation. Right? This is on the mind level. This is one thing. And next thing is Dravya Yajna. That is 27 and 28. So various practices, one can take any practice or all the practices which helps. Okay, no one can avoid from these practices. Everybody has to do for perfection. So Krishna is giving more practical examples from the scriptures, Vedas. Okay, so this is Dravya Yajna, Tapo Yajna, Yoga Yajna, and Swadhyaya Yajna. Now this is another list. Another list. Okay, so Dravya Yajna means a sacrifice. Dravya means possessions. Sacrificing our possessions. Right? Possessions could be wealth. Possession could be a money, a property, or clothes. Anything we think this is ours, we try to sacrifice. Now we look at why, what happens, and what is the result, why we need to do that. So before that, I'll talk about this one. So this Dravya Yajna, Krishna also talks about in later chapters, this charity. Dravya Yajna means charity. Yajna dhana tapa karma pavanani manishinaha. Krishna says, Yajna dhana, dana, let's take dana. Dana means like donations or charity, which purifies the mind. Pavanani manishinaha, purifies the mind, purifies the consciousness. So how? Let's talk about how. So we can see if you have an experience in donating, right? So most of the time we are in this consciousness. This money belongs to me. I earned it. I earned it. This belongs to me. There are some people who says this, why should I donate? This belongs to me. I put all my efforts to earn this money. Not even penny I'll give out. Not even single penny I'll give out. No, they do not donate anything. So why they're not donating? Let's think about it. Why they're not giving any penny out of their possessions? Because they're more attached to the money, or maybe they think like everything is they attained by their own strength, their own abilities. But a spiritual practitioner is different. This practitioner, he knew very well everything is given by the Supreme Lord to us. Because of our good karma, we have given these facilities, wealth. And God doesn't want us to get attached to it. That's why God has given this practice to donate. If God gives $1 million, we can give at least $10 to people. It could be, and the donation has to be done with proper consciousness. Okay, it doesn't mean like we can donate some an alcoholic was just lying on the street, out of compassion, we go and donate, give $100 to him and tell him, okay, enjoy, go and enjoy. What kind of donation is that? So we are donating, it's a good action, but that's not for the good purpose. The action is good, donating money. We are taking out of our personally earned money given by the God. We are giving to a bad person for a bad purpose. That wouldn't help him. In fact, that will create problem to us. It will create bad karma to us. So those kind of karma should be avoided. Krishna talks about it in later chapter. That's called dana in the mode of ignorance. So what Krishna is saying should be dana in the mode of goodness. That means one has to donate to the right person, right place, and right circumstances for the right need with proper consciousness. Right? If I'm donating money to the poor people, I'll get a good reaction. I'll get enough money in future. But we don't want that either. The purpose of studying Bhagavad Gita is moksha. We don't want to create new karmic reactions. We want to burn away karmic reactions. That means we have to donate with proper consciousness. This is the money given to me by the God. I give it to the people without expecting anything in return, as a seva to the Lord, selfless service to the Lord. That will not produce new reaction. That action will not produce new reaction. It's all about the mindset, how you do the work in this world. Okay. So one has to, the charity is one of the spiritual activities, one of the activity. One has to do with right mindset in the right time, right place and circumstance. One has to donate with proper mindset. Otherwise, the donation activity also will create new karma. If one donates with a good as a service to the Lord, as a yogi, then that karma, there is no new karmic reaction. Okay. So, and one more thing. So by doing those activities, which helps us in this material world, right? Which which enables us to be compassionate. We develop kindness. We can empathize with people who are suffering. We can learn their pain and understand, okay, maybe they're going through this pain because of their own karma. God has given to me because of my good karma. Let me also help so that they can elevate from their position. So one can donate money to the poor people suffering. That is good. The better thing is to donate to a charitable organization or a spiritual organization like temples, where temples propagate or give spiritual education. The best thing we can do is giving a spiritual education. Right? We can give money to a poor people, but giving a spiritual education by which he will not take birth again. That is the best charity we could ever give. That is the best donation we could ever give. Okay, that's all about charity. I'm giving various points from various future chapters of Bhagavad Gita in the early stages. Okay, and austerity. Krishna also talks about in the other chapters also. So let's quickly look at austerity. This is one of the spiritual practice which is very much needed, very much essential. So in the austerity, in the charity, what are we offering? Our possessions into the fire. What is the fire? Fire of as an offering to the Supreme Lord. Right? And we'll develop gnana. That is, this money doesn't belongs to me. This belongs to the God. There is a supreme divine reality. I'm just a servant of the Lord. So that's understanding one could get with this charity. Okay. Austerity. Austerity is tapo yajna. Tapas is very important. Right? Without tapas, nothing can be attained. So tapas, why tapas is needed? Tapas means like tapas means voluntarily taking some pain, voluntarily taking some bodily pain for a higher purpose is tapas, and austerity is a tapo yajna. Right? So for a higher purpose. So let's take the example. Example is fasting. No one likes fasting. Everyone likes feasting. We all want to eat nice food, enjoy nice food. But as per scriptures, it is said that if you are eating 3 times a day, breakfast, lunch, and dinner for 14 days continuously, you need to give a break to your system. That's why as per Vaishnavas, they follow Ekadashi. Ekadashi is a day, it's giving a rest to the system. Again, it varies, depends on individual abilities. One can take up this austerity of fasting. Austerity is the fasting. Instead of eating various things, right, we sacrifice, and for a higher purpose, for purification of body, will give a break to the system. So what happens when you do fasting, right? Let's talk about it. When you do the fasting, if you're not doing fasting, most of the time we are thinking about food, right? So breakfast, what I need, what I'll eat, or what I cook, what I eat. Lunchtime, dinner time, throughout the day, how much we are food conscious. We can ask ourselves, we can introspect and ask ourselves how much we are food conscious. Bodily consciousness only. Most of the time we are bodily conscious only. We are not conscious about the soul or any soul level activities. So this kind of tapo yajna, then austerity, like fasting, which helps us to think beyond the bodily needs, right? Basically, not thinking too much about the food, taking a break, and engaging our senses in spiritual activities, like listening to kirtan, chanting, or listening to Bhagavad Gita lectures. So those are all on spiritual level. It helps in the spiritual level. So other austerities one could take, like Chaturmasya, like in certain time, in Vaishnavas, they don't eat certain types of food. Like they don't eat, you can see in this picture, right? So they don't eat green leafy vegetables certain month, yogurt certain month, right? Milk certain month, urad dal from certain month. So all these things we're trying to control or our desires to enjoy this in a different way. We're trying to restricting them. It's an austerity, it's a sacrifice. Not necessarily this, like one could, if a person is too much attached to eating pizza every day, right, he can give a break to himself. That's an austerity. Okay, I'll not eat pizza for a week. You can put anything there in that bracket. I took an example, pizza. So other austerity, we could engage our mind in many things. We could engage our mind in spiritual activities. So these are the tapo yajna, austerities on the body level and the mind level, which helps us purification of the mind, which helps us to learn or get a realization that we are not this body, we are a spiritual being, and a goal is spiritual. And 428. So this also given by acharyas. There are different meanings. We'll talk about both. Yoga yajna. So yoga yajna refers to different yogic practices, like Ashtanga yoga practices. That is quite complicated to understand, but we'll see that in the 6th chapter. So other meaning here is pilgrimage, yatra. So we all have experience, right? So most of us who are from Indian origin or Hindu practitioners, Sanatana Dharma, we all go to yatra. Yatra also has a purpose. You can sit and enjoy at home. Even if you are in this country, like people who are sitting, working, when there's a weekend, they'll try to take a vacation. They try to take a break. They try to take a break from regular activities. At least go out, with family, or go out to places to enjoy. That means we're trying to take a break from our regular activities, right? So yatra is also like that. We are too much engrossed in family related activities. The yatra is one. Yatra means like going to a um, holy place, dham. going to the holy place. Yatra means going to the holy place. I think most of us know here. Okay. So that helps us to take a break from our regular activities and work towards our spiritual identity, right? So yatra could be done for various purposes, right? So people think like, okay, God, I desire for something. If you give me, then I'll come to you. I'll break a coconut to you. That's a business deal. That's a business deal, right? God, I have a problem. You solve my problem. I'll give money to you. Bye bye. That's a business deal. No, that's not the practice that Krishna is talking about. Krishna is talking about a practice where people want to see the Lord, like going to Tirupati or Vrindavana or different places where people want to see the Lord. It's a selfless love and devotion to the Lord. They want to go and see the Lord. That is a spiritual practice Krishna is talking about. So that practice helps us to come out of this zone. I and my zone, go to a place, stay there, focus fully on the God and the places where God has performed various leela, right? Various places. Like if you go to Tirupati, like God has appeared there and performed various things. And if you go to Vrindavan, like God really appeared there and he performed many pastimes. One can visualize and think, and he's taking a spiritual vacation. It's a spiritual vacation, right? Which helps to purify our consciousness and mind. So there is one yajna, yoga yajna. And Swadhyaya Yajna, studying the Vedas. Studying the Vedas or scriptures like Bhagavad Gita or Bhagavatam, regularly engaging ourselves in the studying. We study many things, right? We learn many things, news, cricket, movies. So much fascination to hear or learn many material things. But the Swadhyaya Yajna, the soul level, which works on the soul level to understand about our own nature, what God wants us to follow, right? And not just learning thing, putting into practice, learning and putting into practice. That's Swadhyaya Yajna. We are all doing Swadhyaya Yajna right now by learning Bhagavad Gita, the message of Krishna. Hope I made sense. If you have any questions, we can take. Okay, 29. I'll request someone to read this. What is there? Okay.
Yes, Prabhu. Pane juhvati pranam, prane panam tata pare, pranapana gati rutva, pranayama parayanaha, apare niyata haraha, pranan praneshu juhvati. Still others who are inclined to the process of breath constraint to remain in trance practice by offering the movement of the outgoing breath into the incoming, and the incoming breath into the outgoing, and thus at last remain in trance, stopping all breathing. Others, curtailing the eating process, offer the outgoing breath into itself as a sacrifice.
Thank you, Prabhu. So Krishna here in this verse comparing the pranayama exercise to be a sacrifice, another sacrifice. With this body, we could do many things, but we are taking this where if you are engaging in this process of pranayama and breathing exercise, we all know this. You can see in this picture, right? So the breathing exercise requires like you have to breathe in from left, out from right, like 10 to 20 times. Right, breathe in from right and out from left 10 to 20 times. And also take a deep breath, slowly exhale, and do a hums like that. Hums. That will do 20 times. So you can really experience. It's very practical. When you do that, we are agitating these pranic airs. So in the next slide, I'll talk about these pranic airs. But what happens, right? The breathing process, with the breathing process, it is at a certain point, you don't breathe at all. You don't need your breath cycles reduced. You don't breathe for certain time. That is the stage all the yogis look for. Right? You can experience it, if you have learned or want to try out. You can experience. I experience personally. If you are meditating, if you're breathing nicely, you don't have to. There will be a state. There will be a neutral state. That's what Krishna is saying. Offering the in breath into out breath into in breath, incoming breath into outgoing breath to incoming breath. It's and controlling the breath and what is it? Stopping all breathing. This is the end state, right? Remain in trance. There is a state you don't breathe at all. That's a blissful state one has to experience. You can experience, try out and experience. It's very practical. I personally experienced many times. It's a blissful state. You don't breathe at all with that practice. This is another practice which helps. It really helps in controlling the mind. If your mind is really disturbed, right, one can take up this practice, and also the hearing the holy names of the Lord, which definitely helps. This is another practice one can take up. Okay, so importance of breathing, right? It's very important. It is said in our scriptures, one has to breathe correctly. Breathe correctly. Breathing also is very, very important. If your breathing is really fast, it's not good for health. It's not good for health. Okay. So in our Ayurveda and scriptures, it said that if your breathing has to be normal, slow. So we can experience when we are really in anxiety, frustrated, or anger. If our emotions are high, we breathe really fast, like a dog, right? Really fast breathing. Right? So that's not the right way of breathing. That creates problem to our brain and also our entire bodily system. So one has to, by this practice of pranayama, one can keep good control of our breath cycles. Also, one more thing, in our scriptures, it is said that if a person takes birth, right, he lives for a certain time, and the number of breaths is also given. This person takes these many breaths. It's also when we take birth is also there, that this will be taking these many breaths, these many breaths. Not I'm saying birth, these many breath cycles. So that's why yogis try to control or reduce their breath cycles so that they can live longer. Okay, this is a pranayama exercise. It's very practical. We can practice. So again, the essence is, by this practice, we'll get a realization that we are not this body, we are Atma. We are coming out of I and my zone. Okay, so different airs. Krishna talked about different pranic airs, right? So we have all these airs in our system, in our body system. If someone dies, we say in Telugu, right? In Telugu, this is pranam poindi, pranam poindi, right? Or Hindi is pran chala gaya, pran gaya, iska pran chala gaya. I don't know other languages. So these are various airs which exist in our body. There are 5 airs: the prana, samana, udhana, payana, apana. These are 5 airs which are in our body. This helps us in our various bodily functions, like prana air, which is on the chest area. You can see in this picture, if you are seeing in the chest area. So it gives life-giving energy, vitality, respiratory circulation, and thinking abilities. This is the prana area. This prana air circulates in the chest region. Samana air, this is for digestive system, right, which circulates in the abdomen area. So udana air. So this is the air which goes upwards from our throat to head, for various functions of our body, like speech, memory, all those things. There's another air, a vayana, which is circulated throughout the body, for circulatory system, like blood circulation, air circulation. And apana body, this is goes from like downwards, pelvis to the feet, downwards. So this helps us with the excursion, urination, like all those things, right? Water goes from the lower part of the body. So these are different A's which exist in our system. So one has to have a good balance of these A's. That's also given as one of the spiritual practice. Okay, so we have 3 more minutes. I think we can complete 3 other verses. Maybe I'll ask someone to read this. Thank you, everybody.
सर्वेऽपि एते यज्ञविदो यज्ञशापितकल्मषाः यज्ञशिष्टामृतभुजो यान्ति ब्रह्म सनातनम्. All these performers who know the meaning of sacrifice become cleansed of sinful reactions, and having tasted the nectar of the result of the sacrifices, they advance toward the supreme eternal atmosphere.
Thank you, bro. So Krishna spoke about various sacrifices, various types of spiritual activities one can take, sacrifices for self-realization. Right? And here in this saying, all these performers who know the meaning, like why they are performing, how they are to perform, when they do their activities like a yogi, charity or any spiritual, any practices they are taking, they're doing like a yogi as a service to the Lord. The Lord is the one who can burn away the sins. They will be cleansed by all the sins, sinful reactions. And they experience the bliss by doing such activities. And they can attain the spiritual kingdom. Okay, I'll read this. 431. Nayam lokasti ayajnasa kuto anyaha kuru sattamaha. Translation: O best of Kuru dynasty, without sacrifice, one can never live happily on this planet or in this life. What then of the next? So Krishna is again stressing on this sacrifice. Krishna is saying, now that I have spoken this to you, all these types of practices, you can take up any practice which help you to elevate yourself. Okay, and those sacrifice done with proper consciousness will burn away your sins. That's up to 30. And in this verse, Krishna is saying, without sacrifice, importance of sacrifice. Without sacrifice, no one can be happy in this world. No one can be happy in this world, and they can never be happy in the next world also. What to speak about next lifetime? They cannot be happy in this lifetime itself. So take an example, right? So every day we do is a sacrifice. We don't want to work. We want to go to vacation and enjoy, but we still work, go to office, put our efforts there. It's a sacrifice. It's a sacrifice of our personal time. For what? We earn money. We can give a good life to our children and family. It's a sacrifice. So without the sacrifice, we cannot be even living happily in this world. Any activity we do is a sacrifice. So that is a message. I mean, if you want, again, the same examples, right? If a student wants to attain good grades, it's a sacrifice. She has to put good efforts. It's a sacrifice. Efforts in the sense, instead she could have enjoyed her time for personal enjoyment. She's putting all her efforts for a higher purpose. It's a sacrifice. I gave this example, athlete, right? Athlete, if he wants to win a medal, it's a sacrifice. He has to put in his efforts. Even for material things also, the sacrifice is needed. That is a message. Okay, the purpose of all sacrifices: control the senses. It helps us to control the senses. The senses are running behind many things. These kind of sacrifices helps us to have good control of the senses, good control of the mind. And when the karma done with proper gnana, They'll give us freedom from sinful reaction. That means the karma itself will not generate any new reaction. And one gains transcendental knowledge, gnana, that they're not this body, they're a spirit soul, their identity is their part and parcel of the God, and their purpose and goal is to attain the God. And they gradually elevate into taking up the next level. That is the message of Krishna, right? Krishna is speaking Bhagavad Gita, first 6 chapters in Karma Yoga. That is level 1, and level 2 is Bhakti Yoga. By practicing like a Karma Yogi, and takes up into the next level, which helps him to go faster, progress faster in this process of Bhakti Yoga. So essentially, yeah, the sacrifice is definitely needed to live happy in this world and also in the next life. So I'll quickly read 42 and 43, and sorry, 32 and 33, and we can complete this. Give me 2 minutes, and we can end our session also in this section. Evan bahuvidha yajna vitadha विधाता ब्राह्मणो मुखे कर्माजन विद्धितान सर्वान एवं ज्ञात्वा vimokshase. Translation: all these different types of sacrifices are approved by the Vedas, and all of them are born of different types of work. Knowing them as such, you will become liberated. Krishna is saying, whatever I'm speaking, this is very authorized message. This is very authentic and authorized message. It is approved in Vedas. It is given in the Vedas. About what? About the sacrifices he spoke about. Various kind of sacrifices, various kind of activities, right? So these are in the Vedas. By knowing, having clear understanding, and working like a yogi with proper consciousness, he can attain liberation. That's the message. And the last one for this section. Shreyan dhavyamaya yagna gnana yagna parantapa sarvam karma khilam parda gnane parisamapyathe. Translation: O chastiser of the enemy, the sacrifice performed in knowledge is better than the mere sacrifice of material possessions. After all, O son of Partha, all sacrifices of work culminate in transcendental knowledge. So what Krishna is saying here is, the sacrifice has to be done with proper knowledge, right? Any activity, spiritual activity, has to be done with proper knowledge that they are doing as a service to the Lord, offer result to the Lord. That knowledge is better. That is better than mere sacrifice. That means like you're doing a donation, is a charity, without gnana, without knowledge, is of useless. It doesn't help anyway. But the same thing with proper knowledge is better. That's the message. So end of the day, when you work like that, it's a message to Krishna, Arjuna, and also to us, that one can take any of these practices Krishna has given from 25 to 33 and try to practice with proper knowledge and proper consciousness, proper mindset, then get a gnana. So that is a section, attaining gnana through this yajna. So what Krishna did, he tried to compare all this, give a thematic understanding about all our spiritual activities to be yajna. By such yajna, one gets a purification of mind, purification of consciousness, one gets self-realization. It's not that you do one practice and you'll see the results. No, it is something which you experience over the course of time. But that's not the end goal. The other goal is like, by such activities with proper knowledge, we'll get the purification of the mind. We can progress faster in the path of Bhakti Yoga. That we'll see in the next section of Bhagavad Gita. Okay, that ends this chapter. That ends this section, attaining Gnana through Yajna. So I'll stop here. Thank you all for your time and patiently listening. If you have any questions, please feel free to ask or share your thoughts and realizations. Thank you very much, Hare Krishna.